YouTube. So as you can see here on my little Git history, little Git graph, that I recently finally managed to make it so that items can spawn in a task, and that's what we are going to be working on today, is to be able to pick up these items out of the task screen we have here. So let's take a look, and not this way, let me change this to a maybe full screen mode here. So let's create the game, and then when we start a game, we can see that whenever we move towards one of our tasks here and we open the task screen, you can see that we have the items inside this cabinet now. And what I want to be able to do, good morning Darius, is to pick out these little bottles, powder bottles from the what is this, from this task, and to pick up with the character. So maybe I will have to change the sprites, because I don't want to make it that, you know, even you can see on the map when those items are in there. I will maybe just make these closed doors non-transparent, so you know, I don't want to deal with that. But anyways, so now we have the items there, we just need to be able to pick them up. And how I want to do that is, currently these items are nothing more than where are you? So we have these, not here, the tasks, and not here. Well, I guess it's outside the, wow, a lot of things. So items, yeah, that's what we need. Items, and then item node, we have the item task icon, which is for the item that is inside a task. And well, what we can see here is that we have this item sprite, which does not contain an actual image here, that is filled up by the code. So it's done by, like, the script fills it up whenever it needs to be instanced. Why is there an empty thing here? Let's close this. And what I want is, I want this interact button to have, so this should be like a very simple thing here, texture button, which should have no texture in normal case, but whenever we hover our cursor over it, it should have, well, I guess we could use the assets UI texture, no, in-game texture, no, where is the, oh, that's probably for the HUD sprite, yeah, so I guess we could use this kind of pick up arrow, hover, maybe that one here I will insert. Oh, this is, yeah, so this should appear. So now I want this to be turned off, and only this interact button should only be visible in the case when the door is open there, but for the testing purposes, I guess we should just deal with it. And maybe we will add the button click, or button toggled, button emitted when button was just toggled between pressed and normal states. No, we need button pressed, emitted when button is toggled or pressed. What? Okay, so this one we will create a new function for this, and this will only just print debug click, I guess. This is just for debugging, of course. And what we will do is just to run this in create game mode. And what I want to do here is see if I can click on this. So let's interesting. Oh yeah, it works. So when I put it, you can see that when I hover my cursor over this, the green little button appears, and I can, I guess, click on this, and it will be clicked, but it's kind of not placed correctly, I guess. So what we need to do is we need to place this interact button correctly and also resize it to kind of fit the sprite, I guess, which is going to be a little more complicated than I want to admit, but whatever. So this interact button, I guess this should, yeah, let's keep this visible and let's turn this off from code. So maybe we should have a function set button visibility, and this should be a boolean and return nothing. And I guess we could have like a separate global variable for this boolean, and this should be maybe true by default, I guess, and have this visibility on, and if we do this, then we can get a underscore visibility equals visible, and if no, this is going to be button, so I guess we need a button here already, variable button, which is texture button, and this name is interact button, and if interact button is what? Yeah, underscore button. If underscore button is not none, or what is it? Null, I guess, in GDScript. If underscore button is not null, then we can also just adjust my camera. So what we can do is then underscore button dot visible equals underscore visibility, and we can also button dot visible equals underscore visibility when we are in the ready part of the function. And so in the chemical cabinet we can this chemical cabinet resource, now chemical cabinet UI, what we can do is whenever we attach this new resource, what we can do is that I guess if door, do we have a variable that says, that keeps track of the door status? No? Do we not have any variable keeping track of the door status? I guess not. So what we can do is just check whether the open door is visible or not. So if door open dot not colv visible, then what do we do with this? What we do with this is item button dot, or maybe I don't even need an if, I just do item button. Oh well, yeah, let's keep it as a if statement. Item button dot set button visibility false. No, this is when, yeah, this should be when door closed. If door closed is visible, then we set button visibility to false. And I guess what we can do is that whenever the door is opened, in that case we can, but I'm just kind of thinking about how is the door opened when we are in a, how do you open the door when it is opened through the network? So another player opened the door. I don't want to have any confusion from this, so let me find task UI base, no. Item task icon, no. Task node, chemical cabinet resource. So state remote changed. Then we just set door. We do set door in the UI, I guess. Object node. No, this is. What is this doing? That state remote change. Task UI node changed task state. So we need to deal with the changed task state here. Oh yes. So what we can do is what we need to do here is for what will this be? So chemical cabinet UI looks like, wait, no, not this one. Chemical, yeah, this one. What I need is are we connecting those to the cabinet? I think that's what we're doing. Anyways, let's take a look at the script here. Attach new resource and then reset items. What does reset items do? Item place node 2D. So it places, yeah, and the item place is called with cabinet. So the cabinet is what we need to go through here. So for I don't know, what is it called? Item button in cabinet dot get children, and the item button dot I guess set button visibility. That's what it's going to be. Set button visibility will be set button visibility. We'll call it with I guess when the door is closed, when an open door, yeah. So this should be the same as open door visible. Did I do it correctly here too? Door closed is visible. Yeah, that's how it should be done. All right, so this is what we do when the task state is changed remotely, and when we open or close the thing, then we do door handle check and door open. Oops, let me just do this, and then we can, when door is open, this is just going to be true, and when door is closed, then this is just going to be false. So now when we go into the game and we go to the here, and I cannot click on these, which is correct, and when I open the door, yeah, this appears, and now I can click on them. So what I need to do is let me check the things here. So remote, so I want to see the actual scene tree of the game. And the game, open it here, and then this overlay and the chemical cabinet UI, and we have this control, and we have the cabinet, and we have all these item task icons and the interact buttons over there. So the problem is that our textures are centered. So maybe that's what we should modify, that the texture should not be centered. That would make it easier to match. Or maybe we can we center this texture button or interact button somehow? Yeah, I don't really see how could we do that. Well, I guess what we could do is, well, let me close this, and we should so at this point things work, and kind of how I intended. So what I will be doing here is just git add everything, and that would make it easier for me to get back to this point if I screw anything up very badly, because now I am going to be doing some experimenting here. And what I'm going to do is just, for this item sprite, I will add an item sprite actually. So UI texture, no, in-game texture, I guess. Powder bottle. So I want to see, and I will also add this icon to the normal texture, so I can see how these things should be organized. Maybe what I should do is, so because keeping it centered, it makes it easier when I can just, just rescale this sprite easily. So that's why centered is good. I guess what I could do with this is set the anchor to 0.5, and if you're watching the stream and enjoy what you see, why don't you drop a like on here? Well, that did not help. But I guess we could have a -20 and a -20 here, and then 20 here, which for some reason, okay, it's not working, but whatever. Oh, because its size is 150. So what if I change this? So I mean, we could put the button over there, and then what would that do is I guess it would change the margin. But the question is that if I do this here from the editor, which is, I guess we could try the 75 here, just to be exactly in the center over here. If I do this from the editor, how will this look in the game? Because that is the difficult part for me to figure out. Thank you for the like on the stream. Like it if you like what you see, or anyway, so this is the difficult problem for me. So of course no button appearing with the closed door, but once I open this door, okay, the buttons appear, and the location is yeah, it's kind of weird. It's not exactly... Okay, so the button is much bigger, of course, it seems like, than the object itself. And they are just, they do not get to the top of this, so I need these buttons, all of the buttons, to be in front of all of these bottles. So all the arrows should be over the bottles and not never behind, I guess. That is kind of the thing here. But in the meantime, so there is one other thing I should consider. So maybe instead of having this whole button which has a lot of invisible space around here, I should just have a button which only has this arrow, and then the arrow could appear just at the right place somehow. I'm not sure if the interact button is the best way to do this. And also the sprite is weird because the sprite also has all this empty space around it. Interesting. How should I... Or does it? Oh no, the sprite does not have any empty space. Sorry, I was wrong about this. So, but can we use some tricks to always put the interact button forward? Pass on mode, size flags, theme, visibility, show behind. What does that mean? If true, the object goes behind its parent. No. We want this to always be in front, but maybe if we cannot do that. Okay, so maybe I should just have a smaller arrow here for this. So let's try to create a smaller arrow. So let me go into my bin. Might need. Let's increase the. Okay, you don't. Anyways, yeah, this does not really work now. These icons are really huge. Anyways, so in the miscellaneous and images and UI elements, we have the pickup arrow and the drop arrow. And what am I looking at here? I should open this in Inkscape. So what I need to do is I need a similar thing but only with the arrow. And I guess what I could do here is where the hell is my layer control? Now I want to see the layers. Okay, so layers and objects. Alright, so I want only to see the basic one. Okay, so this one, this arrow, I want to export this to a PNG file, but only the arrow itself. So this will be pickup arrow. So maybe there will be a task pickup arrow, and let's export it. And I don't need to save this. Now let's get this PNG, put it in src and game, I guess, and UI element, no. Items, no. Item node, no. Assets, UI texture. It's definitely, it shouldn't go into the HUD. Where the hell do I put it? tasks, maybe in tasks, UI elements. It's kind of empty here at the moment. I guess I could create a folder here, sprites, and put this PNG file over there. And so now we have somewhere hidden in tasks, UI elements, sprites. And I need to put this on my hover and also the normal here. Alright, so this is much better. Now I can just change this to 0, 0, I think. Yeah. Sure, why not? And the minimum size... The minimum size is... well, I have no idea. Question is there any way region rect, the region of the atlas texture to display? Okay, I don't know what this is. So what I need to do is now, I guess what I need to do is whenever I load this thing, the texture on this sprite, which happens, I guess, here, and then scale it, can I get a bounding box for the sprite? So I guess I need to check the good old documentation. Sprite bounding box. Okay, so sprite, 2D sprite animation, reset box, creating a sprite, creating a 2D rigid body. No. I just need the sprite. And can I get texture vector region offset region rect? Is pixel opaque? Property descriptions. Centered, flip. Okay, offset. Region, texture. Okay, maybe I need to search it in DuckDuckGo. How do I search for something like this? GD script sprite real size in pixels or something like this. Get a pixel size of now. Get sprite dimensions. How to change on width of image without something. Let's take a look at the documentation. Disable filter option. What do you mean by disable filter? Where is that? Okay, if you have any ideas, and why are these not loading? Wasn't paying attention. Yeah, so what I want to do is, so when I load this texture of the sprite, and no, I don't care about that. So what I do is I transform, so I use this texture on the sprite and I use the scale to change the size. So maybe I want to decrease, so I want to make it bigger, I will just set it to 1.5. If I want to make it smaller, I will set it, I don't know, whatever. So this is kind of, this should be dynamically set, because this same scene will be used for all the different objects. So we don't really know, so we cannot assume the size. So I need to figure out a way to actually calculate or it would be better if I don't have to calculate, if it just gave me like what is exactly the size of this sprite as it appears on the scene tree. But it seems like the search results do not want to load from those websites. So how to change height and width, yeah, how to set sprite texture size. If anyone, oh, the texture has a get size, okay. Size in pixels, there is a way to do it. But this website does not feel like loading at the moment. So I guess I have to work my way out from here. So sprite get texture get size. Is that going to work here? Where am I? Script. So can I sprite? Or maybe what I can do is, can I just get underscore button texture dot, what was this? Get size. What is it going to return to me? Texture get size. It returns the texture size, but yeah, vector 2. Okay. This sounds good, but maybe I need a width and a height. Maybe that's the better way to do it. Yeah, maybe let's get width and then also get height. Oh, this is how you spell height. Okay, so I guess we should make a variable here which will be variable let's make it just width. Will it be an integer? We'll see if it's an integer. Yeah, it's an integer. But that's a vector 2, so that's going to be float. Height float equals that thing, and also texture scale dot x, and then this one's going to be texture scale dot y. And what we can do is we know how big the button is, so that one we can assume to know because this is going to be this sprite, and we will make it as small as possible. That's 49 by 75. Great. So 49 by 75. Maybe I can just yeah, maybe let's try to not assume that either. So let's make it var button width, which is a float, and that is going to be underscore button. You want the sprite to scale based on the window size? No. The sprite will be scale because now we only have one sprite, but this same thing will be used for different items. So some of the items will have a bigger sprite, some of the items will have a smaller sprite, and so this is why we have to be able to dynamically control. So you can load any kind of sprite onto this specific scene, and this should handle any kind of sprite. So button width underscore button dot, what was this? Just size underscore rect size. rect size.x, and then we'll have a button height, and there will be button rect size y. And what we need to do is just, I guess, button dot, just simple rect position. Okay, so rect position dot x will be, I guess what we need to do is we need to yeah, so half of the width over 2 with the half of the width, and we have to get the button width subtracted from that, and the same for the y, but that will be for the height. Okay. Button height, width height. Okay, so this way, well, we can figure this out quite easily. Let me get back to the 2D mode, and let's remove this sprite, so we don't need this sprite, and with this one we can keep the way it is. You better make this game Steam Deck compatible, because I'm buying one soon. Yeah, I mean, as soon as this game will be anything around, you know, I don't know, if Godot is compatible with the Steam Deck, I don't see any reason why this game should not be. I think this should be compatible with the Steam Deck. I mean, the Steam Deck does not have any exotic architecture or anything. So now, let's open this door. Okay, so now these buttons are literally on the middle of this thing. These buttons are just really too big. Too friggin' big. But anyways, I guess I can click on them and that works. Anyways, this is as good looking as it gets for today. I'm not going to waste my time trying to make this look a little better. That's not the goal today. Today is not designing a pretty game. Today is making things work. And what I need to make work here is to be able to pick out the item from the cupboard here. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. But of course I will, you know what, if I guess, let's just check out this. So if I just, nothing else but remove the icon in general and only have the hover icon, I bet you it will look much better. So first of all, while the door is closed, no icons appear, and no clicking does nothing. Once I open the door, the body icon appears, and when I click, its click is registered. So very good, very nice. What we need to do is when this interaction is pressed, we will have to emit a signal. This will have to emit a signal, and that signal will have to be connected. Oh damn! Not compatible in the sense of able to run it, but compatible in the sense of the controls feeling good. Oh yeah. So I make this thing in a way that you can just click on everything. Currently, that is the approach. Click on everything, but then we will probably, well, I mean, depends on, if we have enough people who are willing to, contribute in that way, to just give suggestions how to make this even, more keyboard compatible. At the moment, that's also a problem. I just do everything with clicking on things, and some things definitely do not work out well that way. There are one or two things that seem to I don't know, eat the mouse movements. But anyways, so what am I trying to do here? But it's a good point to to make the game easy to play on multiple controllers. Indented block expected after declaration. Yeah, I need to have a signal attempt pick up, and then we will have an emit signal attempt. Well, I guess this is not how I'm capitalizing. Attempt pickup. So we'll emit a signal to attempt pickup here. But we also have to how do these things work? This one should know which item it is connected to. So this should have an item ID at least. That would be the most sensible way. So and the item ID will have to be supported here, I guess. Integer, and well, let's make this -1 by default, and if it's not -1, it should throw an error. So if the current item ID is not -1, then assert false, should not change the ID on the fly. Okay. So we need to set the item ID for each of these, and when do we set these? I guess when we attach the new resource. Change task state, no. What this one deals with the visibility of these things. What? So here oh, this means I don't have to do this, because if I just do this changed task state and the end of this function here, that will take care of that. But anyways, here when we do the reset items, maybe that's when we should also item button dot set item ID. So we have a set item ID here, and the new ID will be item res dot get ID. So that should be nice, and then this, when we press the button, this will also not just emit the signal, but also will emit its own item ID. So when we pick this signal up, and what we can do here is just debug if this works properly at this stage. No, someone else also liked the stream. Well, are you thankful for that? So if you are watching the stream, because I don't see the people who watch this stream with an ad block, they don't show up as viewers on YouTube Analytics. So if you just give me a like, I know that you're watching. Well, I don't know who you are because it only tells me a number. Okay, so if I press this, the different random numbers that are the IDs for the items appear in the debug thing over there. So that's fine. And now what I need to do is actually, for each of these buttons, not that. Why am I clicking on this absolutely useless thing here? Let's get back to the top there. Reset items is what I'm looking for. So for all of these item buttons, we will have to connect the signal to a function somewhere. Yeah, I also have the ad block on, so there is nothing to apologize for in that. I just realized it not that long ago that YouTube Analytics actually do not count the viewers who are watching with an ad block. So sometimes I see like 0 viewers on the stream while we have a lot of chat messages going on. So that's what's going on sometimes. Okay, so well. Alright, so maybe I don't need this ID thing at all. Maybe this ID thing is absolutely superfluous because so I don't have it opened here, but we have the item resource. Where are you? Resources. So the item resource itself has all these functions already to... The item knows if it belongs to a task. It references the task resource it belongs to if it's in a task. And it creates the task button too. Well, I guess maybe in some cases, of course, the task can have primacy whether the item... Okay, so first, let's do it that way. So first, the task checks whether the item can be picked out of the task. Then the item itself checks if it can be picked up by the player. And in the end, if it can, if both, of course, if one of them fails, then the other is not done. But if both of them are successful, then we can send the server the attempted pickup signal, which will be very, very complicated. Anyways, let me... Up until this point everything works, so I will just do a git status maybe. And the git add. Alright, and just to make sure that I can come back to this point if I do something really silly and screw this thing up. So we will connect this to the task resource. So task resource dot connect, and we need a signal which is called, oh wait, no, the target will be the task resource. So I need the item button dot connect, and the task name is where is the item task icon? Attempt pickup. This will be connected to the task resource, and we will make a function on the task resource which will be very simple. Function which will be attempt item pick out, and we'll get an item ID which is an integer, and this will return void. And at the moment let's just print debug the item ID. So let's copy this to here, and let's see if things are working or not. Okay, so let's open this door. And if I press this button, it will the attempt item pickup in task resource. Okay, so that is fine. So the signal gets propagated to the task resource, and now we just need to, I guess, find what task has this ID. Or not task, what item has this ID on this task. And for that, maybe what we can do here is have another dictionary maybe. Have another dictionary. Will that be the fastest way to do it? Where do we even care about the items? Do we ever do anything with items here? We have the add item function, okay. But it uses the position and the item resource, so maybe... Yeah, well, let's just go through. So what we do is for item resource in items. Well, no, it's actually an item position in items because... Well, what we could just do item resource in items dot values. And if item res.get is there like a get item ID in the item resource somewhere? I guess we should have a get ID, yeah, get ID. Equals. I'm gonna go to the supermarket, but I'm gonna leave my PC focused on the stream. Yeah, thank you. Have a good shopping day, I guess. Have fun shopping. I'm not going to stream too long today because I am kinda sleepy. But I tried to solve this before I go to bed, so anyways. So how do I do this? I mean, if none of the items are there, then it will just fail, maybe? I guess so. If item ID is return true, maybe this should return a boolean, and then if nothing happens, then return false. Because that's kind of... And this should have a function that will check maybe this should not return anything. It's just... Yeah, that's stupid. It just returns with nothing once it finds what it needs. And what we'll have here instead is function can item B picked out, and then have an item resource, I guess. Does it make any sense to get the item resource? Doesn't make any sense in an item resource. I am a little bit in a dilemma here. If I do it, how do I... Can the item be picked up with the item resource? Definitely have to return a boolean, and because this is only the template, so this is the template, this will always say it's true. Yeah, maybe it should go with the location. Item location, and this will be from just going through items, and resource is going to be items item lock, and this will be item lock, which is a string, I think. Yeah, that's a string. That's definitely a string. Can an item be picked out? So what I'm thinking about at the moment is how do I do this in this context? So what I need this one to do is that if not can be picked out, what? Why can item be picked out item lock? If it's not true, I mean, no, if it's true, then we can, no, if it's not true, we can just return. But if it's true, then we need to check with the item resource that if it can be picked out. And there is another interesting point in this one. And that is, of course, the player. When it comes to the server, so the server will have to validate these interactions. And for the server to be able to validate these interactions, the server will have to know which player is attempting to pick out an item here. So this item pickout is going to be called from this here, the interact task icon, which only cares about the item ID. And I guess when the server does its checking, how will the server do this checking? I guess the server can go by the item location and the character resource, which is a character resource. And this will be characters dot my get my character resource. Yes. So we will have to be able to check against the character whether the character can pick this out. And the item resource will also have to be able to. So what is the item resource? What does it have about picking up items? Can be dropped, can be picked up. We need a character resource there, that's true. If item node is character node dot item int area get overlapping bodies. If holder, okay, so this is nice. We can use the current be picked up on the character, or rather on the item with the character resource. So that's why we need a character resource. Okay. So maybe I will just get this into a variable player character. So character resource and equals to this, and we will check that, and we will also can be picked up player character. Okay, so the problem of course here will be that the item does not have an item node at the moment because, well, it is not an item on the map, and in that case the item node, it's null. The item node the item node is going to be null at this point, but it will instead have a task. So what we can do is check whether the item node is null or not. In the can attempt pickup, no. Yeah, attempt pickup, that will work, but not attempt pickup right now. It's just can be picked up. I mean, what is going to call the can be picked up function at the moment? Calls the task resource. Yes, that's what I'm working on right now, and also item resource has the function, and then character resource. Okay, what is character resource doing with this? Let me check what the character resource is doing here. Character resource line 240. Can pick up item. Oh, we have this can pick up item function. I guess. Okay, that's fine. That is fine. Game.gd will have to get to that in a moment. But anyways. The item resource will check, so if I guess what we can do here is just put this in parentheses here. Item node not equals null and also. And the other thing we can check if item node equals null, and I guess we can do elif here. Well, it doesn't really matter. No, what we need is if underscore task isn't null, so what we need to do here is check, so if the task is not null and not underscore task dot something. So how do I get this is the task node? So what I need is a task resource. How do I get? Do you have a task UI node? Yes, you have a task UI node. That is going to be this task node and interact area, and we can check that interact area against the underscore task dot get can item what? We need a get task object node. No, what we need is the task UI node. Which is going to just return a node, which is going to be the task UI node. Yeah, this is returning this. Alright, so when we return this, we can use that from here. So get task UI node in character node dot. So what is the character node all about? So where do you have the character node? Okay, so character.tscn. It has an item interaction and task interaction. Item int area, and we will also have an already var task int area, which will be character elements task interaction. So we can check whether it's in task int area. Get overlapping bodies. I guess we can test this quite easily by print debugger. Watching the stream on the phone, I also have it on the PC running. Well, welcome to this stream on your phone. Do you have on the ad block on the phone too, or is it only on the PC? Because I see one person showing up on the viewer, so maybe your phone does not have an ad block. And welcome to the stream if anyone else is joining and it's not just Darius's phone. And then this will can pick up. So and if you are watching this stream, push the like button to help me get something out of this. I mean, okay, so what is the problem here? The class item resource was found in global scope, but its script could not be loaded. What? What's the problem with item resource? Well, I got some ads a few seconds ago. Yeah, that's good. Watch the ads so I can get like 2 cents on my YouTube video. That's if I can make $10 a month on my YouTube channel, that's kind of the ideal case. So thank you very much. And incidentally, while my streams have a much lower viewership than regular videos I put out, is generally the streams tend to perform better in terms of ad revenue, which is kind of weird. Why do I get more money from the people who don't watch my content than from the people who actually watch my content? And what is the problem with the item resource here? So what if I do not define the type of this? Can I still... Alright, so now let's come. So we are in the interaction area. So this is kind of... And at this moment I can still move in and out. Even so I can move while I'm on the task. So I want to make sure that I'm in the task now. And now I click. Can't pick up because too far away. Okay, so something's definitely not good here. Because I'm definitely close enough. So let's open up the debugger's live scene tree here. And let's see what the heck is going on. So characters, the character... So we have a task interaction thing on us, and the collision layer and then collision mask, task collide and the task activate. Yeah, and the task itself, which is on the map, CamLab, task nodes, and I guess this is this one, interaction area. The collision layer is task collide and the collision mask is task active. So I'm not exactly sure what is going on here. So when I go to the can be picked up in the item resource, task is not null, so again task UI node. Oh, maybe the task UI node is not exactly what I think it is. Okay, so let's open the... Where is the... So tasks, task node. So this is the basic task node, and this is a Y sort. Oh, and it has a interaction area under it, which is called interact area. Okay, so that's what I need to work with here. Dot interact area, and now I have a very long line over here. So let's press F5 again here. Let's start the game. And let's do this. Open the door. And now if I click on it, okay, so we got an invalid get index interact area on base color rect. What? Invalid get index interact area. Oh no, what a... That is not what I need to do here. Damn. That is not the correct thing. What I need is I need to get the task object node, not the task UI node. And let's see now. So, of course, you cannot get an overlap with the UI element. So, I'm kind of thinking that, okay, it can pick up because too far away. So now, this interact area, can we just do a print debug? Okay, so what I want to check is print debug. Oh, maybe I should, okay, so maybe instead of doing this, let me just put a breakpoint over there. And with a breakpoint over there, what I should be able to see is, well, once I open the door and then click the button, yeah, breakpoint. So what do we have here? So task. Okay, so very crowded, but I'm doing this for you guys so you can watch this on a mobile phone screen and still be able to read most of the things that are here. So we have a task which is not equal 0. So I click on here and let me just hide my camera for a second so we can see the task has an object node somewhere. Task object node, yes, and the task object node has an interact area. Yeah, this is both nice. Okay, I will have to do a print debug here, I think. Anyways, and what I'm going to print here is the interact area and get overlapping bodies. And then also we'll do a print debug. Character node task int area. Because I just do not see what the issue could be here. So trial and error is going to be the way I will try to do this. Okay, so let's get rid of this breakpoint. And see what does the output say. So it says empty for both of these. Which is very, very strange. Very, very strange indeed. So can I just print the global position or something like that? Do we have global position on these things? Well, I don't know, like Y sort does it have a global position? I don't know how this works. Wait, there should be a way. There should be a way to check visually confirm these. So I don't. Why is the character node.taskIntArea? Why is this empty? That's what I need to figure out. Why do we not have anything overlapping with the taskIntArea? When do I reference the taskIntArea in the game? TaskIntArea, we never really do anything with this. But what is, so if I go back to, let's go back to 2D mode. And we have this item, we have the task node. So for the task node we have an interaction area and we have an object. So this task interaction area does not have a shape by default, but it doesn't matter because we don't use it by default, we use it with something like UI element, no, we need this task chemical cabinet.tscn. So this inherits from there and then has this own collision shape, but the interact area is still there the same way as it should be. And of course the chemical cabinet, it does not do much. But our character's case, when we have this task interaction, which is this very small thing in there. So we have all these things, and the task interaction has all these events connected to it. And when the task interaction area exit and task interaction area enter, it emits a signal that the task can be so main character. Okay, so task interaction area entered area. Let's print debug area. What is this getting? So when I moved into a tasks area, interaction area, we got into an area 2D, which is, I don't know what is, 4, 5, 3, 6. But this happened on the task interaction area, on this task interaction thing. So that is there. And if I would that area can I print, instead of the area, can I print something like area.get overlapping bodies? Will it have that function? Get overlapping bodies. character.gd get overlapping bodies. Okay, so if I do it like this, and we go and get into the area of this task. Yeah, this is, why is this empty? That is very interesting. When I enter the area, get overlapping bodies is empty. Get overlapping bodies is empty. Why? And beginning to rain and I'm on the road and on foot, not too far from both supermarket and home. Oh no, that's like the worst place to be, get caught in the rain. That doesn't sound fun at all. But the thing is that when I enter a pickup body, oh, because that's a body and that's an area. So probably when an area is entered, then I don't get any overlapping areas. I need to get overlapping areas, not bodies. Is that going to be right? Yeah, and all these pages that I tried to load could not load, but doesn't matter. This one's already solved. So overlapping areas, because there are no bodies here. These are areas. Area, what is an area? With multiple overlapping areas. Overlapping areas. Collision detection in 3D. Nodes overlapping or overlapping areas. Array get overlapping areas. Maybe this is what I need. Maybe this is what I need. Get overlapping areas. And not bodies. Alright. Took me a good 20 minutes to figure this one out. Well, maybe it will take much more if I'm actually wrong about this. Not my first rodeo. Yeah, I mean, I also forget to bring umbrellas with me quite often, which is not good because it's monsoon season here. Can pick up. Great. And now if I walk away, cannot pick up. Great. Okay, so I figured it out. Finally. 20 minutes to figure this very simple thing out. But anyways, so once that's done, I guess let's add whatever we have changed here, because need to have a fallback point. Now that we know whether something can be picked up or not, where are we doing this? Items can be picked up. So if items can be picked up, then well, I guess so. This can be picked up in the item resource, or are you? We also need to check whether the character itself can pick up an item. And that is going to be more complicated, I think. Because if, in this case, currently, of course, the character itself checks whether the hands are full or not, and also checks whether the item is in range, I think. So we need a can pickup function on this somewhere. Can pickup item, yes. Oh, it actually does not do that. It just can pick up item and then directly calls can be picked up in the item resource, which means that we actually don't do this. We do the player character dot can pick up item and give it the item resource. Very good. This is very much better than what I expected here. So this will call the can be picked up on the item resource, which we just debugged, and I guess it doesn't do anything else. It just checks first if the character actually can pick up anything new. Great. So if it can pick up, then we need to initiate the pickup. So player character dot pickup item and item resource. So this will be a little bit tricky because it is possible that the item does not have its node. But we can just, basically what we can do is we can just create the item node whenever it actually wants us. But of course, yeah, this is not how it should work, because first we need to tell the server to initiate the pickup. So actually what we need to do is we unfortunately what we should do is just keep it the same, if not return, and otherwise tell the server to attempt picking the item up. So we need to tell the server to pick this item up, which how is it done for the regular items? I would think it's in the game scene. So we have the game scene. It has a lot of like things related to picking things up and putting things down. Item pickup attempt, item ID. Yeah, very simple. We'll just call the item pickup attempt on the game scene. Should be straightforward. And we need the item ID for that. And we need to call this on the, now what is it called? Transition handler dot game scene dot item pickup attempt. Yeah, that is what we're gonna do. And how this works is it RPC is the server. So we are currently not testing anything in multiplayer. So whatever is doing, we're doing it here. This RPC just goes directly back to the server. It does itself. So item pickup server function will be called. It gets the sender ID. So who is the player who tried to pick up something? It gets the character resource, gets the item resource. and calls character resource can pick up item. And as we just tested it previously, this is exactly the same thing. Checks whether the character has anything in its hands and then checks it through the item resource, which we just modified to work with items inside tasks too. The only thing we might have to add here. Okay, I know what we need to change here, but there's one thing we need to change here, because this will work without a problem until this point if we actually, in the task resource, the can item be picked out is not called from here. And I know it's going to sound crazy, but actually, because the player character is going to check through the, so the player's resource will check through the item resource, and the item resource here can check or underscore task dot can item be picked out. And what do we need here as arguments? And we don't need the character resource here anymore. We only need the item. I guess this was going to be an item number. Oh, Darius got to the supermarket but got wet in the process. Well, I mean, and you will even get wetter on your way home probably, so I guess the best thing to do is just get your grocery shopping as quick as possible and then get home as quick as possible, and then, I don't know, maybe take a shower if you're soaked up anyways. That's what I did last time I got caught in the rain. So we need an item ID here instead, and we will deal with this later. I mean, the item, this case, any item can be picked out. So the item resource can just use the item ID, which is item ID, I guess. So it's not true, and also, or it's this one is not true. So how this is work? How will this work? So if the task is not null, so this is a task related item, then, well, what we do is task get object node. If it's not in the area, or it cannot be picked out. So maybe we should first check if it can be picked out, and then check, because if it's true that it can be picked out, then we need to check whether the areas overlap. But if it's false, so it cannot be picked out, then this part is true. Oh, but the thing is, I need to put the parenthesis here, because AND has a higher precedence than OR. So parenthesis is very important. Okay, so this is done. So now, if it's possible, so the server runs its own check, then it will RPC the pickup client, item pickup client on every client. So let's find that function. Character resource will be got, item resource will be got, and then this will call the character resources dot pickup item resource. And this one, what we need to do here. So what we need to do here is that if item node is null, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's equals null, how we work here. And if the item node is null, if underscore task, no, if, well, where are we? We are on the character. So if item res dot get task, I guess. Now this should be an assert. That it's not a null. And the item resource, does it have a get task function? Yes, it has a get task function, great. And the task by default is null, so that's also very good. I already got mighty amount of grocery, 1 pack of cigarette papers. Oh, so you roll your own cigarettes? Or do you use cigarette papers for some other function? I know cigarette papers are really good at measuring like chemical powders. So that's how we generally measure, like when we just need a few milligrams of some chemical powder, we generally just use the cigarette paper because it is very easy to handle a lot of different powders on the cigarette paper. Maybe we should add that to the game. Measuring some powders on a cigarette paper with a high precision, what's it called? The weighing machine. How do you call the machine that measures weight? I'm not sure. So when we pick out the item, we will call the item resource. So we'll have to create a new item node. And there maybe we will create through the... For my mom's habit, if you ask me, it's not worth it. Oh, I see. Yeah. Smoking definitely does not worth it, neither financially nor any other way I can think about it. It smells bad, it's bad for your health, and it costs a lot of money. But I guess you pay a lot of taxes on cigarettes and cigarettes related things, I guess. I would guess that all of those have like high taxes in most countries, right? Okay, so if there is no node, what should I... So does the item resource have the functionality to create a node, or... I think we create the node through the items autoload, which is another script I have to open in this already quite overcrowded thing over there. So items, does this have a create item? Well, set item node, it's item template dot create item node, and then item, what? So what do we do when we set the item node on the item resource? We have the set item node. Does nothing. Was it something? I think I already checked this, but I don't remember. An item node we can call a set item resource. Oh my. Where is the item node here? Set item resource and then item resource get texture. Okay, so it basically sets the sprite. When do we set the sprite on this? Wow, this is 100 times more complicated than I was expecting. So let's clear this out and RG, what am I looking at? Set sprite. Item resource has set sprite twice. Flask resource, yeah, that's some same items. Okay, so it's call deferred set sprite on line 20. Oh, when we actually set the item resource, that's when it says the sprite. Okay, so we need the items.gd. Why is the item template the one that's creating an item node? Why? Okay, I will get these 3 lines out here. And this will be a new function. Create item node. And this will return a node 2D, I guess. No, it returns a kinematic body 2D. So let's return item node. Item template. Okay, so it needs an item. That's so weird. Okay, that's maybe not a good idea to do this. Why do the item template... Why? What? Why do you use the item template to create item nodes? Item node scene.instance. It's nothing else. This is so weird. This item template is just... I don't understand what's going on here. I honestly don't get why we do this. This would need some serious thinking about to be changed here. Why don't we just use the item resource to create a node? And I would like to finish this stream in 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm quite sure that I won't be able to figure this one out. And this will be a very, very underwhelming conclusion to this very much a grind stream where I was just grinding through this whole thing, trying to just make this happen, and I got stuck for a long time, and now I'm just running into something that I don't know why, is done like this. So why do we have the item template create the item node? So the item template is actually a very neat solution for creating, like, you have a few item templates which are placed here. So you just create a, what is it, the powder bottle TRS, and this is inheriting from the item template and just uses the item template. Same for this flask. No, the flask uses a flask template actually. Oh, so the flask template inherits from the item template but also contains changed functions. Okay. This definitely will need me to think about whether I can or I should. I think I should be able to move the creating and the item node into the item resource. I will place a to-do here. Pick out item from a task. So I will have to do this, but to do this I will also have to think about whether it is a good idea to create the item. How do we create an item node? Maybe that's my problem. Oh no, I don't know. Maybe the problem is that we just have to create the node even for the task that is, but that would be very, very superfluous. A lot of nodes to be created for nothing. What does the item template do here? Not much. So this create item node, this should easily be done by the item resource. So let me just try that. So I don't wanna. What if I just get this create item node, move it from here to the item resource. Set item node. Create item node. We need the item node scene. Okay, so maybe that's why it's in the template. Okay, let's not do this. Okay, let's save. What have I changed? Okay, I changed 4 files since my last things that were working. Okay. That makes sense. What? The item template. I do not want to change that. Task resource. Okay, so for the character resource and the item resource, the changes can be accepted. So git status again. So git add resource class character resource and git add the resource class item resource. What else? So this item template, I do know, let's not change that. And let's accept the task resource. The change in the task resource will be accepted. So git restore resource classes item template and git add resource classes task resource. Okay, so this time let me just check if everything still works or not. I hope I did not break anything. But of course it will break when I will try to pick out the item. Yeah, because we don't have an actual item here yet. We need to create the item which we want to pick up. But that will still not work because the item will still... Okay, maybe we can do this. Okay, so this is where we need to pick up next time. But this time, this is where I will end this stream because I am getting too tired to deal with this, and creating this node, item node, is much more complex than I actually thought it would be. Maybe what I will do, I'm thinking about, so this item template, maybe when we create a new item resource, maybe this item resource should still contain a reference to the item template it was created from. So we could use the item template later to create this node to be picked up and put in our character's hand. And hopefully, if I do this, so I try to do it in a way that the network synchronization part of picking out the item should not change much, so it should work without any serious change in multiplayer mode. But I am not 100% sure about that at this moment. So I will have to see. Hopefully I will be able to solve this soon. But the thing is, there's one last thing we have to do here, and that is because no one in this project seemed to have any time to accept my pull requests, and I also have not finished the task system. It's not up to spec. Not up to spec. I guess not up to specifications right now. So I need to change our milestone goals again. So from July, it's going to be moved over to August for the alpha. And then for the beta, we will have February 28 next year. And then fully playable game also. Wait, what? How is it expected in May? June? It should be 1 year after the alpha, so it's August 31st. Alright, so this is the end of today's video. Thank you for watching, and have a good day, have a good night, and I will see you in the next one. Probably tomorrow I will drop a new video on desktop environments and things like that. So stay tuned for that, and I'm not sure if next weekend I will have the time to stream. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. The next 2 months will be very busy for me anyways. So YouTube will have to be... I tried to record enough videos so I can just post them, but there are no promises made here. So anyways, I will see you next time. Bye bye.